So today I'm here to moderate a conversation with Chris Hardwick. Yay! You seem very excited.
I am very excited. Well, I got up very early this morning. I drove out late last night, and I got up very early this morning and gave a presentation.
Did you have a PowerPoint?
I shouldn't have had a PowerPoint. Because if there's one thing that 12-year-olds love, it's watching a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, oh, so much. But I just learned that there are a variety of transitional things you can do with PowerPoints. This is what this talk's going to be all about.
It's Chris and Grace's PowerPoint. We're going to talk, there's not a PowerPoint, we're just going to talk about
just
PowerPoints.
Talk about all the different parts of PowerPoint we love,
yeah.
Things that can be modified, you know, a big thing. Anyway, I'm very excited to talk to you about all the things that you're doing in your life, because you're doing a lot of shit.
Well, you are too.
Oh, this is not about me.
Okay.
My name's not on this.
Your name is on this.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Well, first of all, everything that's happening now, your podcast, your show, all of this stuff, started from a blog?
It did. I started, I had been working in television since the 1900s, and then
Could you maybe regale us with some of the peaks of your television career?
Well, before a lot of you were born, there was a show called Singled Out. Which was,
I wanted to be on that show so badly.
Yeah, you didn't really want to.
Well, I just was always practicing what I would say to the person when I walked by after I got voted off.
What would you say?
I don't know. Eat shit, maybe.
Some people said that. Yeah, so I mean, I got cast on that show. I was in college. I was a philosophy major at UCLA, and then.
Wow, what irony!
I know. And then I was starting to dabble in stand-up a little bit, and I knew I'd always wanted to do comedy and stand-up, and so I was just starting to try to figure out like how do I do this professionally, and then I just got a fluke audition for an MTV show, and I got it. And then that show got canceled, and then they put me on Singled Out. So that's how that happened. And I really just didn't expect it to be a hit show. I had no plan. I didn't know what I was doing.
Sure.
So it was
just
all,
like all philosophy majors.
Exactly. What does anything mean, really?
Yeah.
So it was just a weird accident that happened. And then what followed was a bunch of really shitty television shows after that.
Yeah.
And then finally in like 2007, when the entertainment business basically was saying to me like, we're good with you, we're good, you're no longer, I just sort of, I woke up one morning and freaking out trying to figure out what I was going to do, and you know, people weren't really coming out to live shows, which you need if you're going to do stand-up, and really have any direction. I just go, you know, I'm only going to pursue things that I actually care about, instead of just trying to survive. I have all this hosting experience, I have all this stand-up experience, and all these things that I love, which were previously just a hobby, just all this sort of nerd sphere stuff. You couldn't do shows about that stuff when I first started out. Because television was very much about like we have to appeal to everyone.
Right.
And that's much more of a niche thing. And then of course now it's become pop culture, like nerd culture has essentially become pop culture, but it wasn't. And around 2007 I was like, you know, I'm gonna do this. If there's something about sci-fi or video games or science, I'm going to use these other areas of my experience, and I'm just going to, I want to be that guy.
Right.
Because at least if I was going to not get jobs, I at least wanted to get them in something that I cared about. Because it sucks to not get a job that you don't want and then still feel bad about it.
Oh yeah, every commercial audition I've ever gone on is just such a degrading experience.
Right.
I had to one time convince a casting director that I was okay with children. Because it was for a Tide commercial, and so they brought in actual babies and had you like hold them.
Are you serious? They have prop babies?
They had real live human babies that were also auditioning for the part of baby, which was very uncomfortable.
Cut, this baby sucks. He totally jumped my cue.
Yeah, this baby is not emoting. And I held the baby and I just instantly was like breaking out in hives holding the baby. And he's like, are you okay? I was like, I love this.
Can you wash my soul with the Tide?
I know. Yeah, it's awful.
And then you don't, so, you know, then what happens is you don't get that and then you leave and you're like,
I couldn't even get that.
But you didn't even want it to begin with, so
Right.
I just said, well, I'm going to take that part out. If I'm going to feel bad, I at least want to feel bad about stuff that I care about. So that's all it was. I started, then I said, you know, I want to do this. I found this job that was casting for Wired magazine on PBS. It was a Wired Science, a TV show. And I got it, and then that led to something at G4, and then I started working at G4. fairly full-time, and then in 2008 I started the Nerdist blog. Because a lot of performers had blogs in the crest of the blogosphere. And a lot of those blogs...
What blog service did you use?
It was originally TypePad.
Oh.
I still get emails from TypePad. There's a problem with your billing. Like, there's been a problem with my billing for like 5 years, asshole. Come on. And then I moved it over to WordPress, and then I moved it over to the WordPress platform, WordPress.org, and then so we're still there. But I just started it because most performers had shitty blogs, and then they basically just said, yeah, come see me, or see me on this show, or here's what, yeah, look at me. And I just thought, well, that's not that interesting. That doesn't give people a reason to come back. And your job as a comedian is to essentially get your voice into the world so people can decide whether or not they want to come see you.
Right.
And when I was growing up, every television station had like 5 stand-up comedy shows. There was a stand-up comedy boom in the 80s, and every channel had like, you know, Evening at the Improv, or Caroline's Comedy Hour, or Comedy Experiment. And then that all went away in the 90s, and there just wasn't really a lot of stand-up on television. So then what do stand-ups do to put their voice into the world?
Right.
What do you do? So I started a blog, and I said, well, I'm just going to write about things that I care about. So it's about me, but it's about something bigger than me.
Right.
And then over in the corner, here's where I'm performing. So if you like this, maybe you'll like this. And that's what happened. It was kind of a survival mechanism, a creative survival mechanism, and that led to a bigger website, podcasts, and video channel, and everything just sort of grew off everything else.
This question is for The Walking Dead. What do you think is going to happen to Glenn?
Well, this is, first of all, an excellent question. Don't read the comics. Glenn, I feel like Glenn was the character that I identified with the most. And it sounds like maybe you identified with him the most too.
Yeah.
Of course, because Glenn is us. Glenn is this resourceful, nerdy guy who has completely excelled.
He got the hot girlfriend.
He's completely excelled in the apocalypse. Like, he's the guy that we would want to be. I mean, everyone loves Daryl because he's dreamy and he swings a crossbow.
Yeah.
But that's easy. Glenn had to work for it, you know? Glenn had to put on that hat and go on runs, cover himself in zombie guts just to get through a herd of walkers, you know? Like, Glenn gets it done. So of course you're going to want to know what happened to Glenn. I don't know, because I don't know what the plans are, but I feel like Glenn will be okay for a really long time, because
He's the moral compass.
he is now. He's smart, and he's cool, and Stephen Young in real life is very funny, and so I feel like he's going to be okay. Were you asking for that reason, or were you like, I hope they kill off Glenn?
I don't want them to kill him.
Okay, good. We're on the same page. I feel like Glenn will be okay for a long time. And how old are you?
9.
And Walking Dead doesn't freak you out?
Nope.
You're so much braver than I am.
Yeah. Even I have trouble with that show sometimes. Are you having a good time at VidCon?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing you've seen so far?
Smosh.
Nice.
All right, we're done with you.
Griffin, thank you so much for asking your question. It was very nice to meet you, sir. Enjoy the rest of your time. I guess that's the end of our panel. We aren't able to hang out afterwards because they have to clear out the room, so we have to dash off. But thank you so much for coming, and enjoy your VidCon. And thank you so much, Grace Helbig, for moderating this panel.